Okay. Hi. So welcome to the monthly infertility workshop. And I'm going to pass it on to Laura, who's joining us this month in June.
Hi. Okay. Awesome. Thank you for the intro. I am like ecstatic to be here and talk about food and fertility, the two things that consume my entire life and have for the past 7 years. A little backstory about me. I'm 39 years old, but I have been going through fertility since I was 31 years old. I got married and immediately started trying to have a baby. Was diagnosed with PCOS a month later. And so that is pretty much my diagnosis. I've been through 3 rounds of egg retrievals, multiple transfers. I have 1 live birth. I have 2 miscarriages. So I got 2 in heaven and 1 screaming upstairs right now. She's great. Yeah. And I became a dietitian many years back because I wanted to heal through food. I believe that there is so much power that goes into what you eat, and it might be the only thing that we can control in our current setting while going through fertility treatments. So then I started digging into how I can incorporate the 2 worlds, and just found loads of research and so many results that people were having with food and nutrients and supplements too. So that sort of became my focus. And here I am X amount of years later talking with people all over the world. And I have a business that was brick and mortar until COVID hit, and now I am completely virtual, and it's been even better. I get to still talk to everybody and help them and guide them through any sort of issue that they're having. And most of my patients come to me with a diagnosis and a recommendation from their physician. And so then that diagnosis guides me into sort of how I treat. So tonight, what I really wanted to do was go over the 4 particular diets. There's hundreds of diets out there, but 4 in particular that are touted as sort of like cleansing and cleaning and can aid in possible fertility assistance. Obviously, we know there is no special food that's going to make us pregnant, but there are certain foods that can help us achieve our goals, whether that is weight loss to restore ovulation or just ovulation in general. And then another big component of diet that I really like to talk about with my clients is the inflammatory aspect of it. So the 4 diets, obviously, that I have put into your worksheet today are the Whole30, Keto, Paleo, and the Mediterranean diet. I'm going to talk very briefly and very loosely about them. They are diets that you could either take pieces of, do them as a whole lifestyle, short-term lifestyle diet, or you can just, take what you will from them. But most of them are not supposed to. Let me rephrase. The keto diet isn't exactly a diet that you do long-term. It's a short-term diet, but paleo and the Mediterranean diet can definitely certainly be lifestyles. And then the Whole30, as it says, is 30 days. So I really just want to start with the keto diet. I can talk the most about that. That one has a ton. The keto diet and its connection to fertility is very strong in the research world. So I'm just going to start on it. I'll probably talk more about it than the other ones. So what is the keto diet? The keto diet is a low carb, moderate protein, high fat diet. So when you're talking about your macros, a lot of people use MyFitnessPal to track. So if you're talking about your macros, you want your carbohydrates to be less than 5% of your intake every day. That equates to roughly 20 grams, depending on what your calorie intake is for the day, and then a moderate protein and high fat. So you want about 90% of your intake to be fat. And what is fat? What does that mean? That means anything that is an animal product, a dairy product, or a poultry product. And then you want to also bring in nuts and seeds and oils and olives and healthy fats. So the difference between, do you guys remember the Atkins diet way back in the day? Yeah. So that was the quick fix. Everybody was dropping tons of weight, but then the results were showing high cholesterol, high triglycerides, low HDL, the good cholesterol. That's because people were eating too much protein and not enough healthy fats. So when I say healthy fats, we're talking about unsaturated fat oils. So monounsaturated and polyunsaturated fats. I'm not going to go into that because it's boring, but just know that those healthy fats are pretty much going to include all of your fishes, your olives, your seeds, and your nuts, your olive oils, your avocado oils, your avocados, your salmons. And then with keto, you actually really want to avoid fruit for at least the first 2 weeks. One of the things that ties in with keto and the issue that a lot of people have is fiber, because you're getting rid of that fiber in the grains and the fruit. So you might experience a little bit of constipation. So you're going to want to keep that in mind. And if you do, you want to jump in and throw a couple servings, 1 or 2 of an antioxidant rich food, which is like a berry of some sort. Any berries are low glycemic index foods. And why are berries amazing for us in fertility is because they have antioxidants in them. Antioxidants reduce inflammation and they sort of quench free radicals. And so us women, especially with PCOS and endometriosis and people who have high stress, you have your adrenals like pumping like crazy because we're going through all these treatments, you're gonna have this overwhelming systemic inflammation going on in your body. So if you can have on the keto diet, maybe 1 serving of a berry of some sort a day to help keep you regular and also keep the inflammation at bay, that would be ideal. Another thing about the keto diet is that there's a huge ramp up period. Has anybody ever heard of the keto flu? Well, the keto flu is keto flu pretty much depletes all your electrolytes. There's this entire imbalance that's happening inside of your body. So you feel sluggish and sick and you have a headache. So if you do decide to do keto or you want to try it for a little bit, just remember that for 2 weeks, you're going to feel like crap. There's no other way to put it. You're going to feel terrible and you might be a little constipated. Some great ways around it is increase your water intake. Or I know that some people drink pickle juice or salty foods. And that is to restore that electrolyte imbalance that's happening inside of you. But after you get to that 2 weeks and you get out of the keto flu or that sluggish transition period, I should probably elaborate on what actually keto is. It's actually a way of putting your body into a state of ketosis. So that 2-week ramp up period that you're trying to get to, you're trying to actually get your body into ketosis, and you're feeling so bad is because the body, your body prefers to burn glucose first. So carbs, sugar, milk, lactose, fructose, anything that turns into a sugar, your body burns faster and quicker. So once all that stuff is out of you, all those grains, those breads, those bagels, all that type of sugar is out of your body will then begin to burn ketones, or your fat cells, which then release those ketones. Those ketones is what your body runs on. That's how you actually stay in ketosis. And once you're in ketosis, it's this, I've done it. I've done all these diets, and I particularly, I'm partial for keto because I am a PCOSer and I have insulin resistance. So this helps me ovulate every month. And so if you can actually get into ketosis, you're going to feel you have a new form of energy, I swear, that you will never feel, that you've never felt. It's this clean burning fuel. Your mind is sort of cleared of all that fog. You have more energy. That 2 o'clock slump that I typically have, I can't speak for everybody. You're not going to have that anymore. It's a different form of energy. And then your body is starting to remove all that inflammation. Your bowels are going to be a little bit different. Your gut's going to feel a little bit different. Your bloating, anything that's sort of happening inside of you is going to change a little bit. But like I said, keto diet is definitely not a forever diet, a way to maintain it, or you do keto for maybe 6 to 12 months. It also has to be done under supervision of your physician or a dietitian, because there's no point of doing keto if you're going to wax and wane. If you're going to kick yourself out of ketosis because you want to eat pizza, it's just sort of a waste. You want to be able to stay in ketosis because that's how you're going to burn the fat cells and make ketones. I did personal story. I've done 3 egg retrievals. The first one I didn't do anything for, and I got 0 eggs. The second one, I modified my diet shortly, sort of. I took like 1 or 2 supplements, and I got 3 good eggs. This round, I did keto for the 3 months leading up to it, and I got 6 eggs. I'm not saying there's anything to it, but for a woman with PCOS that has insulin resistance, this type of diet has really helped me ovulate and stay regular. It's actually also helped with my anxiety and depression issues. And because keto it's a lot of work, believe me. You have to prep, you have to prepare. It does take your mind off of maybe some of the things that are happening in your world, in your fertility world. So it's something to meal plan, meal prep, do with your spouse. I wouldn't recommend it for children unless they have epilepsy, but for you and your spouse, it'd be a great way if your physician has recommended for you to lose weight or to begin restoring your cycle. I think that's it on keto. I mean, I could talk forever on it. And if anybody needs lists of foods or recommendations, I can get it to Kristin and she can disperse it to anybody that needs it. But there's a lot of really good resources online, and especially on like Pinterest. So next one, let's talk about the Mediterranean diet. And then I'm going to be real fast because my time is very limited.
You're fine.
I could talk for a long time, but I'll be very quick. The Mediterranean.
The content is what matters.
Okay. The Mediterranean diet is a wonderful diet for somebody who is battling systemic inflammation or has high cholesterol or needs help with their HDLs or their triglycerides. So the Mediterranean diet is a very clean diet. It is definitely a lifestyle way of living if you're going to pick a diet and maintain it. It is really focusing on fresh fruits and vegetables, whole grains, fish, and poultry, sparingly on the meat side, but definitely no sugars. There's actually a really good pyramid diagram that I will get to Kristin that shows you the foods that they recommend. So the bottom of the pyramid is all fruits and vegetables. You want to have 2 servings in every meal of this subject, and then from there you work up, and it gets less and less till you get to the top. And the last thing that you should be eating is any type of sugar product. We are human. Don't try to torture yourself by not having sugar. I believe everything in moderation, and I think that when we are going through these fertility treatments, like if you want to have a glass of red wine and you're not doing stims, or if you want to have a piece of cake when you're at a birthday party, like go for it. If that's going to help you get through this really frustrating process, do it. But with the Mediterranean diet, it's focusing on healthy oils, healthy fats, fruits and vegetables, and very clean. And another reason that this is a great diet for fertility patients is because of the antioxidant intake. Again, quenches free radicals and helps to eliminate systemic and chronic inflammation. So the next 2 let's do paleo real quick. Paleo stands for the Paleolithic era, way back. So the caveman diet, everybody's heard of the caveman diet. It is very popular in the CrossFit world. That's sort of how it got mainstream. I think back in the late 90s, it became a real big thing. The keys behind the paleo diet is no dairy and no grains and no added sugar. So all natural things. This would be great for anybody who's struggling with maybe lactose intolerance or GI distress, or if you're having leaky gut or SIBO, if you are a celiac patient, or even if you're celiac intolerant, again, with the inflammation, it will help with that. You can couple this with possibly the low FODMAP diet. If anybody's heard of that, the FODMAP is a diet for people who have IBS, Crohn's, colitis. It says that it works really well. If you want to Google it, I mean, it's FODMAP, FODMAP, fructose, glucose, disaccharides, monosaccharides, yep. I can't remember the rest of them, but they're sugars. Ta-da! Got you, FODMAP. So if anybody is struggling with GI discomfort, paleo or FODMAP would be a good option. Try and eliminate that dairy. And then the next one is the Whole30. And the Whole30 actually isn't a diet. It's a 30-day cleanse. And I know Kristin can definitely talk to this one because you told me you did it. But it's also an elimination diet. So after the for the first 30 days, you cannot have any, there's a whole list. Alcohol, added sugars, legumes, MSG, and you have to eat literally no sugar. And sugar is in everything. And that is what the hardest part, right, Kristin?
Yes.
Trying to find it.
It's possible. You just have to like read labels and realize that, oh, that pasta sauce has added sugar.
Yep. So a lot of cooking at home, but this is a great, if you're preparing maybe for a cycle, or if you have come off of a vacation and you just feel gross and you just need to detox your body, this is a great way to do it. It's 30 days. Literally anybody can do something for 30 days. It's also going to flush out your liver because you're adding in a ton of fruits and vegetables. Anything that's green has a natural antioxidant called glutathione, which is actually also a natural liver detoxifier. So the more greens that you can eat, the better your liver is going to be, also with the no alcohol. I mean, I've had people tell me that the whites of their eyes have gotten brighter because they've done the Whole30 and they've detoxed from sugar. I've done it. It's super hard. My husband hated it. He couldn't drink for 30 days, but I thought it was great. Everything sort of inside of you changes when you don't have sugar. Your intestinal wall is so intact when you're eating healthy. And then when you add in sugar, you have these sugar molecules that are seeping into your bloodstream. And not only are those sugar molecules seeping into your bloodstream, so are all these other toxins that shouldn't be going in there, and they're wreaking havoc all over your body. So, this is a good one if you want a good 30-day challenge. It's great after New Year's. But any of these diets would be a great option if you are preparing for a treatment, and if you just feel a little like lost with your diet or what to do when you're sort of preparing for these very stressful events. It's finally something that you can control. It's something that you can do with your husband, and it's something that you can research. So those are the 4 diets that I talk about. Listen, it's not one size fits all. When I work with my patients, I customize things based on their likes and their dislikes. So if you are thinking about one of these 4 diets, take things out, add things in if it makes you more comfortable and less stressed. We don't want to be adding extra stress during this process. Another thing that all these diets do, they definitely increase your folic acid, your B12, and your B6. And those are huge fertility supplements and vitamins and minerals needed for the body and for the baby. Because ultimately, we are preparing to have a child. We will have a child one way or another. We are very strong and determined and brave women in this club, this terrible club. So, throw everything that you can into your journey and then hope for the best, because it will happen. We're just on a slower path than everybody else. That's it. I'm done. I can keep going, but I won't.
Well, I did see Anna asked, Whole30, what do you do after the 30 days?
After the 30 days, great question. I probably should have mentioned that. So again, it is that elimination diet. So after the 30 days, you're going to bring in one of the items that you have eliminated from your 30 days. People typically start with a grain or a dairy, and you're going to see how your body reacts to it. I know a lot of people actually reject grains after the 30 days. But I encourage you to journal a little bit. When are you having a bowel movement? Are you having gas after you eat dairy? Do you feel sluggish? Do you feel foggy? Do you feel dizzy? Keeping a food journal is one of the best ways to achieve your goal, whatever it may be. I see another question.
Yeah, there's two.
Okay.
How do you feel about supplements, fruit, veggies, omega-3s?
I'm a huge fan of omega-3s, depending on your medical condition. It is a blood thinner, so you should discuss that with your physician before. Also, omega-3 shouldn't be taken if you're going into a certain cycle, because you will be having surgery. Fruit and veggie supplements, like, do you mean like the tablets or the powders? I don't have a problem with those. I would obviously, you don't want any interactions with the medications that the physicians have given you. So ask them about it. But those supplements right there seem relatively safe. Does Hashimoto's and keto go well? It can. There's like 50-50 reviews on whether keto is good for Hashimoto's. So that would be definitely a question for your endocrinologist. I don't know if like Dr. Likes or a reproductive endocrinologist would talk about it, but I definitely know an endocrinologist would touch on that. So it's 50-50. Okay.
Well, thank you, Laura. Awesome. I learned a lot. A lot of words in there. Okay, excuse me. So what I'm going to do is talk about, if you guys have the worksheet, just ways to kind of follow through with having like a healthy eating goal. Because honestly, I think most of us know some of the good choices we should be making with our meals. The implementation is what makes it really hard, and sticking to it. And so there are 4 ways that are just different tips and tricks to try and help you stick with making a plan for the goal. So no matter what you decide to do, again, like Laura went through these 4 things, like think about it, think about what might sound the best for you, and talk to your doctor about it, and then come up with a plan. Also, I would say, if you can, get your spouse involved too. Otherwise, it just makes it so much easier when you're doing it. Like she mentioned, I did Whole30 and my husband did it with me. And that changes a lot, like when you do have the other person in your house doing it. So try and get your partner on board with it too. But when you think about this, keep these other tips and things in mind. So really, and it's funny because Laura, you said this, but preparation or planning is really the best way to set yourself up for success, no matter what you decide to do with meal planning. Even if you decide to do nothing related to a specific diet, planning ahead for the choices, having, a meal plan, having healthy groceries in your house, cutting up fruits and vegetables as soon as they come home, or washing them so they're available and accessible and easy to pick up for when you're hungry or having one of those moments. Like, that's what's going to make the difference versus if you're always winging it. Partly because it makes it easy, but also because when you're hungry or starving, it's like you're just going to go for the thing that's closest and that convenience factor. So if you're seeing cookies on the counter or in the front of your cabinet, it's going to be hard to say no to those over and over and over and over again. But if instead you have almonds in like bags of 1 serving, you can grab those and take those with you, or take that instead. Other things are just actually having a meal plan, putting something together, removing tempting food, like I said, bringing your lunch to work. That's something else that you can do. The thing that helps me the most is actually, I always make sure that our dinner is really healthy and balanced meal. And I make enough so that I have leftovers for lunch for me and my husband. And that way it actually means that 2 of our meals are healthy. And I'm not going out for quick bite or fast food. And I'm having a balanced meal 2 meals out of the day. So that was a really good thing that I actually sort of learned doing Whole30 like 3.5 years ago, and have kept doing. So on the worksheet, there's the part to fill in to say that planning is really what's going to set you up for success. But I really want you guys to think of one thing that you can do this week, like a promise yourself of one thing that you can do to make better choices and set yourself up for success. And write it in, because writing down, if you print this out, writing really makes a difference. So say, I promise this week I will do this. Is that meal planning? Is it having more healthy food options? Is it cutting up the vegetables into sticks? So you like, celery and carrots and all that stuff. So it's easy. Think about what that is you're going to do and make that commitment to yourself, because you're worth it. So when you're tempted to make an unhealthy choice, the key to remember is how you feel afterwards. I forget where I heard this from, but it's really interesting, because in the moment, we always want instant gratification. And if we, part of it is because you literally get like a spike of sort of the good hormones in your brain when you have that like instant hit. It's almost like a drug, giving yourself that sugar or that instant gratification of something. But I don't know about you, but for me, afterwards, I feel so crummy, no matter what it is. It's like, oh yeah, let's go and let's have pizza and French fries and beers and all that stuff. And it's like, it's great in the moment. And then hours later or the next morning, I just feel really crummy. And if you start thinking about, before you put a piece of food into your mouth, how does that make you feel later? That could really help you choose to stop eating that thing right there. That might not be the healthiest choice. The other thing that you can ask yourself is remembering your why. Like, why are you guys here tonight? You're here because you want to get pregnant and you want to have a healthy baby. And making better food choices are one of the things that you can do to help improve the journey to that point, and also hopefully improve your success. And so if you can think about the food you're consuming, is this going to help you? Is this going to help your chances? Is this going to help your baby? Or is this going to hurt you? And sometimes it's hard for us to make the right choices for ourselves, because we're just in this really bad habit of thinking, I can reward myself. It's fine. I'll deal with it tomorrow. Tomorrow I'll work it off, whatever. But it's amazing what we can do for our baby and our children and that prospect. So sometimes if you're not willing to do it, make that right choice for you, think about making that right choice for your child, and that it is going to help you get there. So yeah, ask yourself, will this help you or will this hurt you? The third thing is use momentum, which is really powerful to help you, to keep you going. Making one good choice is much easier when you make another good choice and another good choice and another good choice. And it's like physics, and an object in motion stays in motion. And sometimes that motion is going the wrong direction, where we're being, lazy or making the wrong choices or drinking too much. But turning around and making one good choice and then make another one, it's so easy to add on. Like if you wake up in the morning and you work out first thing, or you make your bed, you've accomplished something right away. And everybody who writes books and is successful talks about having a morning routine, because it sets them up for success. Within the first 10 minutes of their day, they've made their bed, they've already accomplished something. That then gives them the momentum and the energy to go after the next thing, which might be to do the workout or to make a healthy meal. And then that gives them the energy and momentum to go do the next right thing. So small, consistent little steps will really make a difference in keeping you going in the right direction. And one of the best ways to do that is to track it. So I've included a URL, and it's a bit.ly. So bit.ly/my habit tracking sheet. If you click on it on the PDF or you type that in, you will get this. Can you see it? Is it backwards? I hope not.
Yeah. No, you're good.
Okay, good. Okay. I made this because I need to track it. So I print it out. And every day that you make a good choice, you cross it off and you can see that you did it 1 day, 2 days, 3 days. And it's really motivating. So then when it comes down to thinking about like, okay, whatever that goal or habit is that you're trying to do, if you see this like on your fridge or in your pantry, somewhere very in front of your face, you might think again about going back to a bad habit. Eating ice cream every night, or drinking 2 or 3 glasses of wine when you're sitting on the couch watching Netflix. Those are all habits that people have. And they can be broken and you can make good habits and use habits to help you. The other benefit is when you do habits like brushing your teeth or washing your hands after going to the bathroom, those are things you don't even have to think about, so they don't use any of your energy. And going through infertility is, I mean, how much energy are you guys exhausting thinking of all the things related to the next step and all you have to do, right? Are the meds here? Are they on time? How much are they going to cost? Is your insurance going to pay for this? Do I have enough supplies? Like, when is my next appointment? Will there be traffic? Like, will this work? I don't know. Like, you are thinking so many thoughts in an hour's day. When you make really good choices and you do them over and over and over and over again, if you do it for 21 days in a row, that's what makes a habit. And when you make it a habit, it's easier and you don't even have to think about it. And the other thing, and I will say this every time, all day, every day, when you have habits that are good and healthy, and not just for losing weight, they're for your mental health too, and they're to help your success and just to help your outlook on the day. But those habits are what will get you out of bed on bad days. If you make a commitment to yourself that you always eat a good breakfast, you always have a healthy breakfast no matter what, when you are going through a bad season with your infertility journey, that commitment and habit to yourself to always having a good breakfast could be what gets you out of bed. Or if it's always going on a walk, or if it's meal planning on Sundays and doing all like good, healthy habits, if it's journaling, gratitude practices, I have a whole list. If you guys need them, reach out to me. But habits take away the energy you need. And when they're healthy, they're going to get you closer. So I really believe in healthy habits. And the tracker will help. You can print one out. Pick one thing. Don't set yourself up for failure by saying, I'm going to do 7 things. I'm going to be perfect tomorrow. It's not going to happen. And it sets you up for failure. So pick one thing. What's one thing you can do based on the conversation tonight or what you've been hearing or thinking about? Like, I'm going to challenge you to do it and do it for the next 21, 30 days and come on to the next call and tell us how you did. And if you did it, show your, you guys, honestly, if you come next month and show me your tracker, I will give somebody a gift. I will literally do an award for that because I believe so much in this. And if you show up and show me your tracker, it's going to be worth it. So that's number 3. And then the 4th thing is to look out for, and it's called the oh well factor. And I don't know, yes, a sugar-free gift. I love that idea. That's awesome. Clever. Okay. So I will think about it. But if you have ideas, I'll put in I do a survey after these. So you'll get a survey in the next day or two, asking for feedback about this. I will put in the question mark there for, what should the free gift? Do you have ideas? So let me know. But the 4th thing is to look out for the oh well factor. And I don't know about you guys, but sometimes I'll be like doing really well and I'll have this momentum and I have this habit and I'm doing really good. And then all of a sudden you're at a birthday party and then maybe you eat too much or like you can't say no because it's like your mother-in-law and you're like, I'm sorry, I'm trying to do, but you're my mother-in-law. I can't say no to you. I don't know what the scenario, but it's sort of like, oh, you made the wrong choice. It is literally like our human nature to go to this sort of, oh, well, kind of like an F it attitude. That's it. Hands up. I give up. This happens every time. I've never been able to stick to this. I've never been able to do anything. This oh well attitude is what can literally derail you. And if you know it's coming and you know that it's a normal reaction, you can say, oh, I'm going to change that oh well. Instead of saying, oh well, I give up, I'm going to change it to, oh well, I'll do better tomorrow. Don't give up on yourself. One day, 1 week isn't going to make or break. Little things really do add up. This isn't an all or nothing thing. There's so many parts and pieces that are involved in your infertility journey and your health journey. Eating pineapple core, whatever, all the things that people talk about, the raspberry leaf and pomegranate juice, like all those things.
McDonald's French fries after your
French
transfer.
fries after the transfer. Yes. I don't think that all those things make or break it. I think it's all these little pieces. And I also think it's the long term, the long game run. I mean, this is like our human body. Like, so make good choices more often than not. Don't overhaul the whole thing, but make good choices more often than not. And change the oh well when that happens from an oh well, I give up, game over, to oh well, I'll do better tomorrow or my next meal. And that's a start over. So that's for tonight. I hope that was helpful. I did see there were a couple more questions though for Laura that came through. So Laura, did you see them? Do you want to unmute yourself and answer? And then again, we'll do Q&A. So you guys can unmute yourself and you can ask the question or you can type it in for either one of us.
Yeah, actually I did respond in the messaging, but I wanted to quickly review them.
Okay.
Anything in particular for a low ovarian reserve that'd be beneficial? You could try any of them. Nothing's really going to reverse that ovarian reserve, but maybe if there's additional complications that are happening, if you want to lose some weight or feel less bloated or have more energy, all four of them could be a good option. And then there was one for hyperthyroidism, which I don't get a lot. But it is a true condition, and hyper means overactive, and the thyroid is your thyroid, and you typically burn a lot of calories a lot. So I recommended a higher caloric diet, more nutrient-dense foods, and higher protein. So fat and protein-rich foods burn slower in your stomach. You remember that whole like meat sweat term that people joke around about? It's a true thing. So meat has 9 grams of fat per calorie, as opposed to like a carb that has 4. So that's why it sits there in your belly a little bit longer. That's why it's great for women who have PCOS, because it doesn't require as much insulin for your body to use, as opposed to a piece of bread. So one more question, anything for male factor? Nothing really for male factor that I can think of. There might be weight loss, I think might be coupled with male factor infertility sometimes. That would be a question for the physician. And then a great comment here from Missy that she did keto, lost 25 pounds in 6 months. And after 6 years of unexplained infertility, she got pregnant 1 month before IVF. I hear this story so much. I actually never got a period myself. And then after doing keto for 2 weeks, I got a period. And it didn't stop, and it came every 30 days for 10 months. But that's for PCOSers. Everybody's a little bit different. Can I eat McDonald's to prepare for your transfer then? Yes, Dr. Lights. I'm sure. They should just bring it into the office when they come to see you, right? Yep.
That would be so hard. Don't y'all do that for like a whole week and a half? Like supersize it for a week and a half?
You know, you can make sugar-free Starbucks drinks at home that are keto and low carb if you buy the right ingredients. Pinterest is a beautiful thing to get recipes on. So when I work with my girls, we always create a meal plan, and we always have a grocery list when you're going to the grocery store, and a meal plan that you have made in preparation for that entire week. Being prepared, like Kristin said, and having small goals is one of the most important things that you can do when you are going on this weight loss journey or ovulation journey or IVF journey, is just always have a plan and write it down and stick it on your fridge, because if you don't, you're going to cheat, or you're going to not have something prepared for dinner the next night, and then you're going to order a pizza, something like that. So you just have to always have a plan going into the week.
Laura, thank you for coming here, and everybody who joined us tonight. I'm so glad you were able to make it. We are going to do this every month, and we will talk about different subjects. So I've mentioned before, I will send an email with the replay and a survey, and it really helps us if you take a couple minutes to fill out the survey. I have my own Facebook group. It's called the IVF Sisterhood. I would love to invite each one of you to join in. It's a place where I do more of these kind of conversations and videos. to share knowledge and connect others. And I'd love to have you join me there. So please, I will include a link in the email as well, but please come and join us over there because I do it more frequently than this. But otherwise, know that we will be doing this next month in July, probably like the last week of July. And I'm glad you're here. Thanks for coming. If you want to follow Laura around on her social accounts, I'm going to also include those as well. Please feel free to, if you're not already, follow Dr. Likes, follow Laura, follow myself on our social media. We're always posting and sharing tidbits and advice and things that can help you that are also encouraging. And just know that each of us are here doing this because we love giving back to this community and want to help make sure that you are educated and able to make the best of your journey to motherhood. So thanks again for coming, and we'll see you next month. Bye.